Hey everybody, it's Benjamin here at the Centaur Fragrance Channel, coming back at you with more fragrances, more colognes, and more perfumes. Y'all know that we love fragrances, we love perfumes, and all things scent related. So let's talk about a wonderful fragrance here today. This one's called Phoenix. This is from a brand called Andromeda's Curse. This is an indie brand focused more on the witchy side of things, more on the gothic side of things. And they're a very interesting brand. Some of y'all out there might like this brand, and this is an indie brand, so we love exploring the undiscovered realms, the undiscovered aspects of the fragrance world. So this fragrance, let's talk about it. First off, this is a bergamot fragrance, and it has black tea, labdanum, and then it dries down, I think, with frankincense and myrrh, some things like that, supposedly. To my nose, I do get the bergamot, I do get that freshness off the top, and I do get the black tea. The black tea here is it's kind of watery. It feels like almost like a chalky black tea. It has a little bit of texture to it, like it's not fully grounded completely. The labdanum adds its own dry, airy, almost sour kind of incense quality to it, and to me, it's not. There is resins in the dry down. There is an incensey smell, but to me, a lot of this, incense and these Andromeda Curse fragrances don't smell overtly like frankincense or overtly like myrrh. I know what those smell like. I've smelled the pure stuff, and I've actually started making some of my own frankincense oils and some of my own oils out there. So this doesn't smell overtly like frankincense and myrrh to me, but it does have a lot of incense to it. A lot of the Andromeda's Curse fragrances have the same kind of incense smell to me overall. So I'm not sure how they process it. I'm not sure how they use their incense and how they extract it. But to me, this is a nice fragrance overall. When I was thinking Phoenix, though, I was thinking of something that maybe smelled spicy and fiery, and then it became more smoky. That's how I envision a fragrance called Phoenix. Something bright like a fire, and then it dries down to more of a smoky base. Spicy and then smoky. This is not that kind of fragrance. It's fresh. It has some black tea. It's kind of dark and mysterious, and then it kind of rises. So maybe this is the phoenix when it's old. If you can think of Harry Potter with the old phoenix that dies and then it's reborn, maybe this is the old phoenix that dies and this is as it's starting to be reborn. And this is the smell of, the old phoenix kind of dying and then it's slowly being reborn into the new phoenix. So maybe this is that kind of feeling. This is what they were going for. But when I think of a phoenix with all of its glory, I think of bright, fresh, spicy, and fire and flames, and then I think of its death kind of part of it with the smoky dry down. But all of us have different interpretations and different styles of how they would make the fragrance if they were the perfumer. So I do think that this is an interesting combination. This is a fragrance out there in the indie world. It's a little bit more artistic. It's a little bit more creative. Some ladies out there and some people out there absolutely love this fragrance. I've seen raving reviews about how some people love this stuff. For me, it's a little bit sour. I guess I supposedly do fall into the trend with some modern perfumery. Not everything has to be tonka heavy or sweet, but I do like things to be pretty well rounded and maybe a little bit creamy-ish. If it's not a little bit creamy-ish, it's got to be a little bit sweet-ish. And for a lot of fragrances, and to me, the labdanum is sour and dry, and has its own almost slightly medicinal vibe to it. And then the incense here also is kind of dry. There's not a lot of anything that adds like lusciousness or richness to this fragrance. Black tea also is a note to me that is kind of dry in its own way. And the bergamot isn't like exactly juicy, it's just a little bit fresh. So to my nose, this is a very dry fragrance, and in its own way, it's parching. It makes me want to drink water, even though it's kind of dark and kind of mysterious. To me, I feel like this is a very dry fragrance in its tone and its feel. So, anyways, with longevity, this one, a lot of these fragrances from Andromeda's Curse and oils in general are not the greatest in projection. They're more of just average or slightly below average in projection, but they actually have good sillage. And this one's very distinctive. This one actually has good sillage, and people can pick up on this one pretty well when you walk past people, when you're around people. if you give somebody a hug, they can definitely detect this kind of scent on you. So longevity was 7 odd hours. You might get a little bit less, you might get a little bit more. I don't know what your skin's like, but on my skin, this is a 6, maybe 7 hour fragrance. The incense quality with the labdanum and the incense does stick around in a big way. Um, compliment factor. This didn't get me a lot of compliments. It was a little bit mysterious. People thought it was kind of interesting. They probably thought I'd been smoking some interesting substances because of the smell of labdanum. Always has that kind of smell to me, depending on what kind it is. So wearing this fragrance, people might think you've been into some interesting substances. So it might be that might be a negative thing for you. You might not care. You might want to smell artistic in your own rebellious way. So wear what you love, rock what you got, but I don't go for this kind of smell personally with the compliment factor. My final thoughts with this brand. I think that their price is amazing for a lot of these Andromeda cursed fragrances. If you like indie, you can get 10 mils of this oil, concentrated oil, of roll-on for 18, 19, 20 odd dollars, which I think is a fantastic price. I don't know of a lot of indie brands that are charging that kind of price. I think it's a very decent price for the quality of what you're getting. For my personal taste and my personal opinion, this is not a fragrance that I'm drawn to. It's not my personal taste. I do like incense in a fragrance, but to me, it's got to be well-rounded. Like Timbuktu is spicy and has beautiful vetiver, and the resins have some of the natural sweetness. And I love resins and things like Amouage Jubilation, which has a good amount of fruity sweetness off the top, and then is more of a sweet frankincense and is bright and happy and glorious. This is definitely a gothic fragrance in my opinion. Definitely is on the indie side, the artistic side of things. Even though it doesn't use any particularly strange notes or doesn't use any notes that are particularly difficult to understand or difficult to wear, this little creature, it's so dry. It kind of has an effect on you if you wear this kind of scent. This definitely has its own character, its vibe, and it definitely does affect your mood in a big way. So it's not my kind of mood. It's not my kind of feel. I do not wear this fragrance personally, but I always say test a fragrance out, find what you like, wear what you love, rock what you got, and somebody out there is going to love this fragrance. If you love the sound of this fragrance, if you love indie fragrances, give this one a chance. I am going to link their website down below. This was sent for review. Again, all these fragrances from a lot of these indie brands, they want to work with me and I want to work with them. So this was sent to me for review, and I'll link their website down below, but I'm not affiliated. I do not get any sort of kickback whatsoever for reviewing these fragrances. So definitely check this one out if it sounds interesting to you. But this one's a no-go for me. I do have to be honest. I have been very positive about some of their fragrances, so don't think I'm hating on anybody. Anyways, this is my review of Phoenix. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it here today. Hope that you did. And let me know down below what you think about my channel, my fragrances, what you think about this review. And definitely support my channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video, and tell a friend. It would make a world of difference. Please support me down below and help me out. Anyways, I'll see you next time, my friends. Wear what you love and rock what you got, like I always say. And have a good one. Have a fantastic day. Have a fantastic week. And I'll see you next time, my friends. And bye, everybody.